Welcome back to the channel, guys, of Project Dakar, aka can't polish a turd but you can roll it in glitter. Boom. So this will be the first kind of part of the rebuild. There'll be another one to follow. This is kind of up to the kind of current state that it's in. So here you see me just kind of tidying up the wiring loom best I can. So all of the original OEM loom wrap, if you like, not sure of the correct name, that all was unpeeling and coming off, so did my best to clean up the wiring. Got a bronze brush, I think, so not too kind of hard. It's not like a normal wire brush. The bristles are a lot softer, so I used that to do my best to clean up the contacts in the plug and the actual plugs up themselves, and freshened up the loom with some new insulation tape. Stick with it. It's not a whole video about me just doing a time lapse on putting insulation tape on a wiring loom, because that'd bore the head off anybody. It's got, like I say, all of the kind of bike build up to its current state. It ends up looking all right, actually. It's getting there. It's been quite a while since I've actually put a spanner on it, really, so this is all still kind of older footage of bits I had on my phone. Okay, I've heard this works. Never tried it before. Well, I think it's that one anyway. This kind of stuff on the exhaust, so I thought I'd give it a go because it looks very minging, to be honest. So just gonna keep painting it on, and then I'll come back and then show you later on what it looks like. I think the theory is you just paint it on, leave it to do its thing, swill it off with a bit of water, and then yeah, wash it off and see how it goes. So we'll see. We'll be back. So exhaust update. I mean, it is looking better. I've swilled it off once, just some water, and when I scotch brighted it, it brought it up a lot better. Got a lot of the surface stuff off. So it kind of is working. Still in two minds whether to kind of paint it with high temperature paint. Don't know. We'll do another update a bit later on after I've keep working it in with the paintbrush and turning it over and putting more on. We'll we'll come back. Pictures or a video of the kind of final thing. But what I might do is possibly put it on the, when it's fitted to the bike, use old school method of a bit of metal polish and a rag, and then try and shine it up and get some of this other marks off it. Okay, be back again. Okay, so verdict. I mean, as we can see, 100% is better. No ifs and buts about it, it's better. Still not happy. I'd like for it to come up a lot better. This is the underside, which you won't really see, but I'll know it's there. So whether a lot of it comes out with a bit of polishing, yeah, we'll see. But obviously, from what we started with, loads better. Just got to work out what I'm going to do now. Because I don't really like that. At least it's cleaner to start with. Okay, fuel tank cleaning. Well, one-handed, not ideal. Not ideal brush either. It's using like a car cleaner, just like a normal, what you'd wash your car with. So it's only really road grime. It's not like heavy, what's it called, like heavy grease or anything. So give this a whirl, see how this goes. Hopefully get a bit of a positive result. Sorry, cleaning one-handed. Not ideal. Give it a good clean off afterwards. Dry off, I mean. See how we go. Right. I'll come back with an update because it's not the easiest to do one-handed. Yeah, that's come up a lot better for minimum effort, to be honest. Bit of car cleaner, long brush, hose pipe, bit of a rinse off. obviously I'll clean it up a little bit more, a bit of silicone spray or whatever, just to give it a bit of a shine. But happy days, that's not too bad at all. And that just cheap car shampoo and a brush and a hose pipe. Just got a lot of the road grime off it. Happy days. And as you'll see here, I didn't stop at that point there. Tried to get all the plastic bits done around the rear wheel, kind of mud guard, rear fender, whatever you want to call it. A few of the bits and bobs, chain guard, they all come up really well. I was well happy with that, buzzing. These few pictures are a few of the brackets before and after, kind of cleaning up and painting and stuff, so they all come up really quite nice, to be honest with you. Made it all look a lot nicer underneath the bike. You know, it's a shame to kind of go through all this effort and then have a couple of rusty brackets. Ideally, if you go in full-on concourse to last forever, you'd ideally send all these off to be powder coated, but like the title suggests, it's a bit of a budget restoration just to make it all look a little bit better. And besides all of that, I do actually really enjoy painting. I don't know what it is, there's something about it. It must be therapeutic or something. Love spray painting. Now the rear shock. Where do I go with this one? So, yep, it's a cheap drill before anybody comments. Yep, I know, but it works well. It's done me proud, that has. Now, this shock, yes, I did just paint it. Yes, it looks a lot better. It's all masked up there. And it's a shame really that you couldn't see when, you know, I didn't take a picture of it kind of final when I took all the masking tape off. Kind of wish I had, but not really ideal, kind of just painting it with spray, if I'm honest. But again, it just freshened up because the spring was so rusty, so I did my best to get off all of the rust on the rear shock, masked it, painted it, and it did look loads better. How long it will last, who knows. If it irritates me that much and I keep the bike for a fair amount of time, might look at getting a replacement rear shock, or upgraded one, whatever, we'll see. Now onto the fun bit. It actually starts to resemble a motorbike again. So you see here, I think I included this in one of my previous videos about changing the headstock bearings in there. So again, I just thought while we're on the rebuild, it kind of fits in quite well. So this is me really just tapping the new head race bearings in, the outer races into the actual headstock itself. They are, I think they're exactly the same size bearings top to bottom, because sometimes you do tend to get a smaller bearing on the top and a larger one on the bottom, but I believe that they were the same ones. I think that's why I held the box up, but you can't really see it in the time lapse. Just for reference as well, the bearings that I fitted in there were taper roller bearings. They tend to give you a bigger surface area. I think majority of new bearings that people tend to fit in the bikes are actually taper roller bearings rather than the original ball bearings. Also, just to remember, more lube the better. Everybody likes a bit of lube in the right scenario, of course. But then, forks are in, front wheels in, straight away. Oh, looks like a motorbike. That was an exciting moment. I think I did have to take them back out actually, because I forgot to put there's some little gaiters that go over the bottom of the fork legs that I'd forgot to put on, so gutted, got a bit carried away. I do wish I'd recorded a fair bit more of the actual kind of process, but like I said, I think I've said on other videos, a lot of these earlier photos and videos were never really meant for YouTube. I never really kind of thought I was going to go down this option, but I ended up doing a lot of things. Some of the, obviously these time lapses were, this is me just sticking the swing arm in. Yeah, and unfortunately you do see a hammer, but it's a copper hide hammer, so I was being nice. I wasn't being an animal. I was actually trying to do it as nice as possible. Where is it? I'm sure it's coming. There it is. I think that was it. But yes, it was a copper hide hammer, and it was the hide side of the hammer as well, I think, not the copper side, so I was being extra nice. Sometimes just needs that little bit of persuasion just to get it started. But another kind of milestone, getting a swing arm in the bike. Oh, it just makes everything look better. Bit by bit, it's starting to come together. I did actually make a mistake, not on this bit, but I will show you the mistake. And the mistake come about, we'll go over that in a bit, but the mistake come about because there's a certain bit that was back to front to most other bikes, but you'll see when we get there. Again, just making sure getting plenty of lubricant, plenty of grease on all the nuts and bolts. So it's all like the linkage bolts at the bottom for the shock absorber. Making sure I get them nicely lubricated. So there's many times I've come to a bite, especially on this one. This was really bad. Every single nut and bolt when I was taking it apart was seized, corroded, rounded. Oh, it was an absolute pain in the ass. So just making sure that everything that goes in with a nice bit of lubrication. To hopefully, hopefully I don't have to take it apart again. But if I do, everything's all a little bit easier to work with. And there we go, some pictures of it looking step by step, a little bit more like a motorbike. It's getting there, starting to look alright. I think the radiator's on there. I'd cleaned up some of the overspray off some of the lazy moments where I left some of the coolant pipes on. I shouldn't have, but I did. And managed to clean them all up. They ended up coming up okay. And obviously I was bolting up the brace that sits above the front wheel between the two fork legs. And here we go. These are the gaiters that I was on about on the forks. I don't think they're a standard fit. I think they're an aftermarket fit, but I thought they were on there. They look alright. I put them through the washing machine. Didn't tell the missus. And yeah, they come up right. So I thought I'd put these back on just to protect the inner stanchions. On to the fuck up. See these bolts? They normally go in the head at the back and the nut at the front, like you can see there. Well, turns out that actually, no, they don't go that way. So it's just I'd cleaned up all of the chain adjusters there and slotting them back with plenty of grease into the swing arm, getting them all fitted in there so they're nice and free, because these were seized in the swing arm as well when I first got the bike and tried to take the wheel out. Right pain in the backside. Oh, lubing the shaft. You can keep your jokes to yourself. So at this point here, knowing that the wheel doesn't turn and the swing arm's fouling the sprocket nuts like anyone, I just thought, you know what, I'll come back to that. I'll move on. So I ended up then getting, as you can see there, the front kind of subframe dash mount, handlebars, through the electrics connected, and look at that spaghetti mess of wiring loom. Brilliant. Love taking stuff apart ages ago and then forgetting where it went. Good job I got all the pictures and stuff as a point of reference. All of it was a bit of a headache trying to remember where everything went, all the routing of the wires. Obviously they don't fall as natural as they did into the positions that they were connected, because obviously I've retaped all of the wiring loom with new insulation tape, so it was all a little bit stiffer, but we got there in the end, made it all fit where it needed to be. Happy days. So I hope we can all agree, I'd like to think so, that it's definitely looking a lot better than it was, and it's all starting to look quite nice. It's going back together. There are a few bits that still need a little bit of attention, obviously, but there you see a before picture of the engine with all the paint flaking, and here's one afterwards. It looks a lot better. And there's a dirty, crusty before picture, and the closest angle that I had was that one that looks a lot better. Shiny, nice. Now on to fitting the fuel tank. So it fits on with the subframe that holds it in place by going over the top. So to hold it in situ, just while I got some bolts in, I put some screwdrivers through the holes in the frame and the subframe. And then obviously just a continuation really as me going around tightening up all of the bolts that hold it all in place. I will go round at each kind of step once I've completed something and I know it's fully finalised. I'll go around and torque everything up to make sure everything is tight. But at this point here, we're just kind of getting the bits on. Hopefully, not having to take them back off, but not being 100% sure at this point in time. So just kind of getting everything fitted. after such a long gap between stripping it all down and it being in bits in my garage for so long, and then kind of getting bits done here and there and trying to get stuff done, each step now just you'd stand back and look, and it's so rewarding to look at it and kind of think, okay, yeah, it's not concourse, yeah, it's not going to be showroom condition, but compared to the absolute mess that it was, each step that I do now I can stand back and think, yes, yes, that's a nice difference. That is, really looks good. Okay, do a bit of a walk around, see the progress. Still miles away. Tank come up brilliant, really nice. That little bit of effort. Still loads to do. Loads and loads to do. But I think it's coming along quite nicely. Considering I took it apart over 12 months ago, it sat in pieces. There's a bit of a pain in the backside to try and remember where everything went, but God, this area absolutely did my head in to try and get everything routed correctly and laying correctly in that fuse box at the front behind the headstock. My advice to anybody, if you're going to pull it all apart, take loads and loads of pictures and videos of exactly the routing of almost every single wire around there, because it's not the worst I've seen for like an amount and volume of wires, but enough that when you got a big gap between taking it apart and putting it back together, that it was a headache. And as you can see here, onto fitting in the headlight and onto the front indicators. Don't know, in America what do you call them, blinkers, flashes, I don't know, but anyway, yeah, to me the front indicators, fitting these on. Did a video on the one side, and I think I did a time lapse of me doing the other side. Weren't too bad to fit on. I know there was something, I think they've got to come back off because of a bit of trim, not sure. Here we go then, being honest, this is my mistake. So the bolts went in back to front, so the nut should have been on the wheel side and the head of the bolt should have been on the sprocket side, if that makes sense. So because they were the other way around, admittedly the stainless steel nuts and bolts I put in, the nuts are slightly bigger than the standard ones that came off, but as soon as I put the bolts the other way around, give it loads of clearance, spot on, wheel spun nicely. Then onto some chain fitting. So nice gold chain fitted on the bike there. I have got to torque up the front engine sprocket nut when it's on its wheels and in gear and whatnot, but I got the actual chain fitted and proper riveted up. None of these cheap kind of split link things, don't really agree with them, but yeah, got it all on. Looks lovely. I do think that it would have finished it off all really quite nicely. Say finished it off, the bike's not finished, but you know what I mean. To have a nice set of aggressive, more off-road tyres on there. But again, I'm not really going to be using it for off-road. I'm just going to have a bit of a ride around on it, probably commute to and from work. And now we're starting to come towards the end of this video, up to its current state. You can see I've got the oil tank fitted there, the battery tray, radiator expansion tank. So it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. Airbox now fitted and the air scoop on the front. Yeah, really pleased. It's coming along really nicely. So yeah, mirrors fitted there, and that's about it I think for this video. So if you like the video, please give it a like and help me out by giving me a subscribe, and then you can keep up to date when the next video comes out. Thank you very much. See you soon.